Hello party people and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the difference between being a collector and an addict. Unfortunately, a lot of us in the fragrance community or other shopping communities, collecting communities, whether it be trading cards, whether it be fragrances, shoes, hats, clothes, whatever it may be, a lot of us suffer with this inability to recognize when our hobby or our collecting becomes less of a hobby or a collection and more of a addiction where we couldn't stop if we tried. That's what an addiction basically is. And a lot of the time it's meant to fill a void that we have in our lives that maybe we just haven't figured out. So what would you do in that kind of a situation is just kind of try to identify, am I addicted to buying something? Or am I, simply choosing to buy it because I can afford it? And I think that's the key term is, can you afford it? This fragrance right here, when I bought it, technically I could afford it. Was it a stretch? It was a stretch. So I bought this fragrance, and as you can tell, I really enjoy it and I've had a good time with it. But there have been other fragrances that I've kind of bought when I couldn't afford them. Tom Ford Ombre Leather was bought on a credit card. If you're using a credit card because you can't afford to pay in cash for your collection, then it's not a collection, it's an addiction. Unfortunately, I've spent money on fragrances that are quite expensive and I couldn't afford them. Or I wanted what I saw online. I wanted it so bad. And I kind of submitted myself to whatever it takes to get that thing, that new shiny toy. Dylan Blue by Versace was one of those shiny toys. I don't really like it that much, but at the time I had to have it. I was addicted to buying fragrances. I still have a propensity to want more than I already have, and practicing wanting what you already have is a great way to change the narrative about your collection. Do you already have enough? Are you just buying excess because you want to fit in? Do you just have a fear of missing out on what else is on the market when you should just be enjoying what you already have? You can only wear one pair of shoes a day. You can only wear one or two fragrances a day. So what are you going to do to analyze your situation? Can I afford to buy these? Because if you're broke, it's not a collection. If you're broke, you are not a collector, because you can't afford to be. You got to provide for your basic needs, your necessities, your family, your transportation, all the basic things that you want. And I've been in situations where I've not necessarily put those things on the back burner, but because those things were taken care of, I thought, you know what? Those things are taken care of. I can use a credit card. I can go buy it. You cannot use a credit card to collect. That is not a collection. That is an addiction. We have to recognize the difference. If you're in the fragrance game and you really you can't miss out. Like you're sitting there on Amazon, everything's in your shopping cart. You just watched a YouTube review and you just want that fragrance so freaking bad, and you're going to go crazy if you don't get it. That's an addiction. And you probably won't enjoy the fragrance once you've had it for a few days, for a week. You're more excited about getting something than actually wearing it. That's addictive. So if any of this resonates with you, if any of this stuff makes sense, sorry, I'm just trying to get the light out of your eyes. I didn't frame this super well. That's why it's shaking. But if any of this resonates with you, you need to take a step back. You need to analyze your finances. You got to figure out what your motivation behind buying these things are. Is it because you're afraid of not having, especially if you're a collector of like cologne, they have top 10 lists and you're like, oh, I have 9 of the 10 top colognes that he just put on there. I need to get the 10th one. It's going to cost me $80 and I don't have $80. I need to, change the oil in my car, but maybe I should just get the fragrance and then put the oil change on a credit card. It doesn't work like that. That is really hard. So cut back on your spending. Prioritize more things in life than your collection if you can. And if you can't, try to seek professional help if that's what you need. Try to seek the support of a friend. Start journaling. Figure out your motivation. Realize that would I rather trade my son's happiness, my daughter's happiness, my wife? Would I rather trade my marriage for the addiction to fragrances? I feel like there is someone out there who has lost their marriage because they were a shopping addict, right? And what if that addiction was like cologne? Like, do you know how sick to my stomach I would be if this was the reason I lost, you know, everything? And it does happen. So seek help if you need help. Never let this shopping addiction, whatever your choice, whatever your choice of drug is, so to speak. Is your drug fragrance? Is your drug drugs? I hope it's not drugs. Is your drug, you know, I don't know. I don't have any more examples. Shoes. But that's pretty much the end of the video. I hope you got some perspective onto maybe you need to back off buying cologne. Maybe you're gonna need to back off buying what you're buying because you don't need everything. You need just a few good things, you know, a quality over quantity for sure. And that's hard because I got ADHD, I got OCD. So both of those things make you compulsive and impulsive. So an impulsive shopper where I'll just go and get it just because I just thought of it and I got to do it right now. Or compulsive meaning like I got to get it. So I understand, but we got to rise above this. You can't always get these things. So good luck and reach out if you need help.